Hi, my name's Aaron Hastings and welcome to the Lesmiserableone channel. I currently am suffering from quite intense burnout. It actually unfortunately got so bad that just a couple nights ago on the 3rd of June 2025, my body physically thought that it was having a stroke, which obviously is it's not ideal, really. That's quite didn't think that was very good. So I sat in the Edinburgh Playhouse watching Moulin Rouge, the musical. Side note, really bad, don't recommend it. About midway through Act 1, I started to feel really uncomfortable. My heart was beating really fast. Now, it is famously quite a hot theatre. People overheat and faint and stuff in there all of the time. So I was like, it's fine, I'm just hot, I'll take some layers off. Or it's just anxiety because I'm not doing very well at the moment. Like, I currently just am quite ill. But then I sort of started to feel like pins and needles exclusively in my left side. So my left leg, my left arm, and like just part of my jaw here started feeling kind of quite weak, but also like tingly, like pins and needles sort of sensation. And I thought, see that is not good. Those seem like they could be symptoms of something quite bad. Now, unfortunately, I was sitting right in the middle of an aisle. I went by myself, so I sat wedged in between two big groups, just right in the middle of an aisle. It was, one of the single cheap seats just left by itself, and I was like, yoink, thank you very much. That unfortunately made it very difficult for me to actually try and get out of there. So I just sort of had to survive the rest of the first act, panicking about the fact that, ooh, this doesn't feel good. Now, to absolutely clarify from the word go, I knew that this was most likely just anxiety. I knew that it was very likely just a panic attack that was kind of replicating unpleasant symptoms. But the problem that I had in that was that because I'm autistic and already struggle to understand what I'm feeling a lot of the time, I also knew that I might not be able to tell if it actually was bad and wasn't just anxiety, and B, what if I was just telling myself that it was anxiety and it actually was bad, and then I just kept telling myself it was anxiety until it was too late. Like, if I'd reacted sooner, I could have done something. And it was one of those sort of vicious cycles where I was like, I'm pretty sure this is just anxiety and I'm fine. But also, what if me believing that it's anxiety and I'm fine is actually the worst thing, because what if it isn't? And that was causing more anxiety and more spiraling and more cycling. Not good. Somehow, thankfully, managed to make it to the interval. I got outside, went straight to good old Dr. Google, who said, if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, even if you think it is fine and that they will go away or they have gone away, call 999 right now. Which obviously was not, obviously was a little bit of a scary thing to read, because fuck. So anyway, I called 999. Spoiler alert, to be completely clear, this was not a stroke. It was just really, really badly heightened anxiety, coupled with the stress and the burnout that I've been experiencing recently. And I think the operators presumably knew this because I was passing a lot of the kind of tests to deem whether it was an emergency or not. But the woman on the phone then turned around and said, great, we'll get an ambulance out to you between 46 minutes and an hour and 13 minutes. And I was like, sorry? You want me to you want me to stand outside of the Edinburgh Playhouse for between 46 minutes and an hour and 13 minutes in the cold while I think I could potentially maybe be having a stroke, possibly? And she was actively trying to hang up on me. I was like, wait, no, wait, can you clarify what you've said? Because I'm at the theatre, I'm watching a show. Are you expecting me to go back in and wait? Or do you want me to stand outside for 46 minutes to an hour and 13 minutes to wait in case someone shows up? What do you want from me here? And she wouldn't really give me a proper answer because she just obviously wanted to hang up the phone and deal with other emergencies. But I was like, what's going on here? So I waited outside for a bit. Thankfully, I know people that work there. I have friends there. They let me in to kind of watch the show like on the TV in the bar. So I was kind of watching bits of it on there. But I was also freaking out and not okay. And also, side note, show just wasn't great. So it really was just a whole conglomeration of things going on. I ended up just leaving the theatre midway through Act 2. Eventually it got to the point where the show had just cleared out, and there was still no sign of an ambulance, and they actually rang me to go, actually, there just aren't any. Just hang tight, we'll get back to you. So I went to sit inside the nearby Weatherspoons just to kind of not be outside in the cold. And probably not even 20 minutes later, they rang me again and went, actually, there just aren't any ambulances. They're kind of all dealing with emergencies and you're going to be waiting hours. It's like 10-15 minutes by taxi. Rather than you just sitting there waiting hours, can you just actually just come into A&E and just tell them we sent you? So ultimately, got to A&E, they did a bunch of tests, actually got seen relatively quickly. The whole process, I made the call at about 9 p.m. I was finished in A&E by about 2 a.m. So overall, could have been a lot worse. They did a whole bunch of tests and they all came up clear, which was actually quite surprising because they did blood tests and they did like a heart scan. Now, I've been told since I was a child that I have an irregular heartbeat anyway, which was a point of concern in this whole thing. And also the last few times that I've had blood tests, there's been something wrong every time. They're always like, oh, you're deficient in this. So I go on supplements for a while and then I go back and they're like, oh, actually, you're deficient in this now. So the fact that everything came up clear was actually quite surprising. I think most likely they were specifically searching for the one thing and weren't going to go, oh, by the way, there's also this. You should go to your GP about that. Maybe they would have. I don't really know. But it kind of seemed like they were just specifically like, do you have a stroke? Yes or no? No, cool. Off you pop. But essentially it boiled down to the fact that the combination of anxiety, burnout, stress, etc. had culminated in this literal sort of manifestation of symptoms where it was mimicking quite a serious event. My body very genuinely did think that I was having a stroke. It was quite frightening and it really made me reconsider a lot of things because I have been burning out for a while, but it's been quite a gradual decline where I've been like, I'm probably not great, but I'm fine, to, oh, actually, I'm quite burnt out now, but I'm still well enough to keep going, to now I've hit a point where actually physically I have nothing to give. I think I've been saying that for a few weeks now, that I have nothing to give, and I think I keep progressively having less of nothing or more of nothing to give. I went for a walk up to Asda yesterday just to get some food in, and that was actually actively too much. And today I've not moved. Today I've been in this bed, which is why I look like this, because this has been a build-up for so long. And quite genuinely, I actually don't know what to do about it, because people have been saying, oh, you need to take some time off. And I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to get better, like, overnight. Just because I take a week or two off, it's actually not gonna fix me. I'll actually probably get a little bit better, feel like I've got some energy and I've recovered, and then I'll go back to work and I'll go and get to this again. Because this unfortunately actually is the cycle that I'm now realizing that I've been in pretty much my entire life, actually. Every single job that I've had where I've held it long enough to get to this point, I have gotten to this point. Not this bad, not so bad that I thought I was having a stroke, but this is where I end up when I continue to push. So I'm actually quite sad about it, and I actually don't know what to do, because A, I really like my job. I actually do not want to quit my job and have to not work. B, people are saying that I'm overworked, but I work probably about half of full-time hours, if that. And that just really makes me quite sad, because if I'm overworked barely half of full-time hours, then does that just mean that I am physically incapable of ever having a full-time job ever in my life? It kind of feels like it, because every time I've had one, this has happened. And so I've gone, okay, I'll work part-time. And it's taken longer. It's taken us longer to get here, but we still got here. We still ended up here eventually. So what do? What is the answer? Because I've never ever been able to recover from this stage without just leaving a job, or without quitting, or without fully dropping off the face of the earth for like a month, 2 months. Like, it's a long-term recovery. And unfortunately, it pretty much happens like once a year, once every other year, that I need to do this. What am I meant to do? Am I meant to like build that into like my life routine, where I like get a job for a few months, burn out for a couple of months, and then get a job again, and then just cycle like that? Because that doesn't feel like it's good for my overall health. Am I meant to get a job for a few months, stop before I hit this point, rest for a couple of months, and then go back to a job for a few months, and then just sort of alternate it like that? Perhaps find something where I make enough money in those few months to facilitate the months off, and then just sort of build it that way? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Ultimately, I don't know. I just don't know. And I have nothing to actually give. And I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm now trying to reevaluate, and I'm trying to find things that I can do instead. And so I returned to platforms like this, where I've been making content since I was about 12 years old. I've been yapping to a camera like this since I was about 13 or 14. I've spent more than half of my life doing this, and I am rapidly approaching 30. At a dangerous pace. For someone who never thought they'd make it to 18 and then never thought they'd make it to 21, it's pretty wild to be in this position because it still doesn't feel real. To be in this position and also not be able to hold down consistent employment, concerning. Because listen, I am incredibly grateful, incredibly blessed to have family who have been able to facilitate me in the past when I've had to say, I can't do this anymore, and I've needed to stop and rest and recover for months at a time, and they've been able to alleviate the financial burden of that particularly. However, I really am getting quite close to 30, and that just can't be my life forever. It just can't. I have to be able to build something for myself. I have to be able to find some sort of way of designing a life that works. And I don't know what that is. And I don't know what that looks like. And I think, almost ironically, that is what this is. That is what this right here, that's what this is. In a way, it almost always has been. I think the Lesmiserableone channel is about figuring out who I am, but it's also about trying to build the life that I want to build, trying to understand what that is, and trying to understand how to do it. I think that's what this journey is. I think it's kind of in a way what it always has been, but especially right now, I think that's what I need it to be. So if you would like to join me on this journey, or if you have any sort of thoughts or insights, preferably constructive, because I have nothing in me right now. So if you're gonna chat shit in the comments, just don't. I'd really like to build something here. I would really like this to be like a little community that are actually trying to just figure stuff out. I think that's what this has actually always been anyway, but I think particularly right now, this is what that could be. And just look to starting to figure out how to build a life that facilitates whatever's going on here. And so if you're interested in that, you want to be a part of that, I would like that. I would like it if you came along for the journey. If you've already been on this journey with me for a while, this is where I am now. A whole lot of context missing from a lot of the things that I said in this video. So many things going on right now. This beard is really actually quite wild. I never have this. I never get to this stage. Hopefully next time you see me, this won't be here. But I guess we'll see. Thank you for watching. If you have watched this far, please do leave insights, subscribe or whatever if you want to come along the journey. And I'll see you hopefully very soon.